Okay, so we are going to create the key model. So I'm going to delete this all the things. So for that I'm going to press N and going to enable the screencast keys so that you can see what kind of keys I am pressing. So over there you can see that. Also I'm going to delete this and I'm going to press N to hide this thing. And in a front view I'm going to add image reference. So previously we have created the brush 3D model. You can check out my videos. So today we are going to create this key. For that I have imported the reference image. So next we have to make it a little bit over here so that we can insert another cube or add another cube, means add a cube so that we can create this thing. Okay, so for that I'm going to add we can add cube as well as, or we can create a cylinder. For the cylinder what I have to do is to make it a little bit scale down. So for that I'm going to make the image to match our reference. Okay, so for that I'm going to select the cube and scale it little bit so that I'm just matching the image in reference so that we can create it as it is. So for now I'm going to rotate it like this. Okay, so scale down it little bit like this. I think it's fine right now. So I'm going to, in a wireframe mode, select these means vertices, going into the move tool and to there. So next I have to do select this again, this part, and extrude these parts, and then we have to add a sphere over here. For that I'm going to extrude these parts. So in a material view, so I'm going to select these faces to make this round a little bit. So for that I'm going to the faces, selecting the faces. So let's try to select the faces in a wireframe mode, these faces. Okay, so we have selected these faces. Now I'm going to exclude from these things. Okay, so exclude these things. Alt E, press Alt E to exclude along with faces normals. Okay, so up to this. Okay, I think it's fine right now. So let's try this and check it out, the lower part, and we will create this part as well. So for the lower part, what I have to do is to exclude these thing. Okay, so for that I have to exclude this part, E to exclude. Okay, so for that I have to in a material view right now and check it from the side view and select the faces. Okay, these two faces will be selected and E to extrude these faces like this, E to extrude and E to extrude up to here. So for that we will add some edges so that we can create this part as well. So I'm going to add the edge over here, another edge should be here, and I'm again adding edges from the here and one of the last edge over here. Okay, so it looks fine right now. So we have to make a little bit more detail in this section. Actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it a little bit inside this area. So for that what I have to do is to make it a little bit inside this area. So I'm going to press 7 into the top view, and what I have to do is to select faces, Control E to extrude, and we will do a little bit inside this like this. So for that we have to make a little bit like this, I think. So it would be helpful to when I'm going to bevel the edges from here and these edges as well. Select the other edges that we are going to bevel and Control B, and we are just checking that how it looks like when I'm going to bevel it. So let's try this and check it out, but it doesn't work for this. Okay, so we have to delete these part so that we can, or we can make it lower a little bit. So select these areas into the top view, we are going to make it into the y-axis like this. So maybe it will help us, but I don't think so. It is going to be as expected. So for that, I have to remove these areas for creating the detailed model like this. Okay, so for that we have to add the edges. We have to select the edges like this, or we have to create another thing. We can add more edges as well. For now I am going to press Ctrl Z into the same view. We can see that it is the same as we have before created. So I'm adding this edge inside it, and the edge should be moved inside the model. Okay, so for that I have to be into the top view mode, and I'm going to press Y to little bit like this. Okay, so it can be viewed by the other part as well. So let's try to create this one thing. So I'm just trying to create like that, but it isn't the same as for now. So we will add the details. Right now we are going into the edit mode, select edit mode, and edges. We have to be play with edges so that we can make it more like as we want. Okay, so I'm just creating this as we wanted. Okay, so now what I have to do is to select this area. So for that I have to be in edit mode, select this part, and this part, and press E. Okay, so we are just adding this part for now, and select this area little bit like this, and I'm selecting this part and E to extrude like this. Select this part and E to extrude. Okay, so it looks like that right now. So now it looks our reference image. Apply the smooth and check it out at how it looks like. For now I'm going to add the object data properties and normals. We added the normals so that we can see that how it looks like for now, and add a material and name it a key texture or something like that. Okay, so change the color of it, lower the light so that we can see that how it can be look like. This part isn't the same as we wanted, but okay, it's the same as we wanted. So let's try to check it out inside this area, that how it looks like. Okay, it's fine right now. Actually previously it was like a sharp model. So for this part and this, we are going to sphere and make it more like that. So I'm going to add the sphere for this area. So let's add the icosphere or UV sphere, and we are going to reduce, because we are going to create as we know that we are going to create the low poly model. So that's why I'm going to do, okay, select this at shade smooth. Okay, so let's try and match it up to the like this area. Okay, it's fine right now. Yeah, as per the model. Okay, so for this area what we have to do is to make it I think we are going to create this area from the cube. So let's try to create this part as well. Maybe we are okay, we are in the front view right now. Actually I have selected the image and the reference image was not as we have created our model. So I am again going to create the sphere, UV sphere, and make it a little bit over here like this. Okay, so I think it's fine right now. So again I'm going to check it out again, and let's see how it looks like. Okay, so it's fine. So now we are going to create this part as well. So for that I'm going to add the cube over here, and we will check that how we can create. Actually we can mirror this thing. Okay, so for that I'm going to add the mirror modifier, mirror, So what I'm going to do is to like this and check it out and scale down a little bit, and then I'm going into the wireframe mode, and we will mesh the exact reference so that we can create it as expected as we wanted to create. Okay, so for that I'm just adding the edges like this. You mean whenever you are going to create these things, you have to think about the little bit details, not too much detail, because we are working on the low poly models, so that's why we don't focus on the most of the details in the model. So I'm just trying to create it as a reference, but not as accurate as we wanted. So try to create the thing as the edges are going on. So we have to add the edges as we needed, so that's why I'm adding gap inside it. Okay, so let's try this again. Add edge and rotate it a little bit like this. E to extrude a little bit, we have to scale down and rotate it. Okay, I think we are creating as per the reference image, so we are good to go. And scale down a little bit, E to extrude like this, and it, so by this view we can see that it works fine right now. So let's try to create, check from the front view that how it looks like. So for that, as I was scaling down, so it's from the side view, it isn't working like that as we wanted. So I'm going to make it up to here. Okay, so like this, just fixing the edges, not much detail, just adding more detail like this to play with these edges and make it as per the model. So whenever you are going to create something, you have to you have to give the time to create, or you have to add a more time, more time to detailing part, so that it can be great, and it would be great to see the model as you want. Okay, so that's why I'm adding the details in this part. We can also expand, or we can select these edges like this, and we can select from this part as well to check it out that is it is fine or not. Okay, so let's add more details from over here that isn't aligned with our edges. Okay, so now I have to check it out that how it looks like. So I think it's fine right now, almost as expected as we wanted. So I'm going into the material view right now and add one more face inside it. And over here we will add a sphere. So I think it's fine right now. Up to this, it's fine. Okay, so we will create this part as well. So for that, what I'm going to do is to to select this part, or we can say that duplicate this part from this. We can do in multiple ways, but I'm going to what I'm going to do is to make a duplicate of it. Okay, Shift D and X Y Z, press Z, and it would be like this. Okay, so whenever you're going to select this part, we have this mirror, and on this our duplicated cube we have this same mirror applied. Okay, so for this I'm going to enable the clipping as well, so that it can be, but I don't think so we needed the mirror for this part. Okay, so that's why I am going to remove this part and press 90 degree, rotate on the minus 90 degree, and we will make it like this and scale down a little bit so that it can be, and scale up like this from this view, and add and some of the adjustment. We need a little bit of adjustment obviously, because we are duplicating the other part of the model. so that's why I'm adding more details in it. So I have to be in the wireframe mode and check out these things, that how it looks like. So we have to be like this, or we have to select and drag over here. Okay, so that can be look like as our reference model. Okay, so just adding more detail like this and like this. So I'm going to grab this edge up to here. G to grab. When you press G, you can grab the edges. Okay, or you can adjust these edges by selecting this handle. So I think it's fine right now. We are good to go with this thing. So I have to be in a material view and going to select this part. Shift D duplicated. We have duplicated this area and scale down and paste it over here. Okay, so that we can see that our model is fine right now. Okay, I think it's fine right now. Okay, so for that we have to duplicate this as well for this, and we have to select both of these, and again shift D to duplicate, and we have to be over here. Okay, so I think so it looks great. So just adding this shed smooth. Okay, it's fine right now. Shed smooth on each of the mesh. Select and shed smooth. So for this area, as we this is low poly, as we know that. So for that, I'm going to the object data properties and enable the share auto smooth, so that we can see that how it looks like when we are adding this add smooth. Okay, so I think not much the detail for this area, just lower up little bit. Okay, it's fine right now. For this I have to add more means to the 130 degree or something like that, but it is fine right now. So we can add more detail as well, but for now, as we are going to create the low poly 3D model, that's why I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so as we know that we have the same as color as the reference, so we are adding the same texture, which is key texture. So let's try to add the key texture on each of the object that we have. So I'm just selecting model and selecting the adding the texture on it. So as we know that the color is like this, the key is like this. Okay, so I'm just adding the color. Okay, so our model is ready and ready to use in the game as well. So that's it for now. In next video we will create another amazing thing. For now, thank you so much for watching this video.